Welcome or welcome back to the social media marketing strategy process. Now we're taking a look at step 3, establishing goals, objectives, and metrics. Let's take a look at it, okay? Why do we want to do that? The key question is anyways, establishing goals and objectives. Always think about the relevance. Why are we doing what we're doing? Ask yourself that as well at the job, at the place you're going to work at. Always ask yourself, why am I doing what I'm doing? How can we do it better? Maybe more efficient, more effective, okay? Now, marketers should consider which objectives and types of interactions make the most sense given what. So before even choosing social media platforms, which is another step in the process, before creating posts or launching the entire campaigns, we as social media marketers should be clear about the goals and objectives. So social media marketing should not happen just because a brand feels like it has to be active online. It should be a coordinated effort that should connect back to the value. What value? Ideally, value provided given for the company itself and value for the customer. That means strategic social media planning should consider 3 things: company's abilities, the target customer's characteristics, and the trade-off between expected benefits and costs. What does that mean? In other words, what can the company realistically do well? What does the audience actually care about? What are the pain points? What do they care? What do they need? Last point, what is the expected outcome? Is the expected outcome worth your time, money, and effort? You got to do a trade-off between expected benefits and costs. And the whole idea is to keep your eyes on the prize. Social media strategy is only useful if it supports the business, fits the audience, and uses specific metrics that show whether the campaign is actually working or not. All right? Why is that? Because marketing in a nutshell is an exchange. Exchange of what? Of tomatoes? Yeah, but what are tomatoes? It's a value. It's always an exchange of value from one person to another. In this case, from a company to a customer. So in marketing, exchange means that value moves between 2 parties. The company offers something, goods or services, ideas, content, entertainment, information, you name it. And the customer gives something back, whether that is dollars, your attention, engagement, data, loyalty, or word of mouth. Earned media maybe, word of mouth, maybe good word of mouth promotion. So when we talk about social media marketing, the goal is not just to post for the sake of posting. We got to post, we should post whatever. Social media marketing is only useful if it creates value for both sides, the company and the customer. Think about it. If a brand creates content that customers enjoy, but it costs the company too much time, money, or effort with no real return, then there's no value for the company. It's not sustainable. Why are you doing it? You're just wasting your time and money. You can spend your time and money otherwise better. This opportunity cost will be too high. On the other hand, if the company gets value, maybe clicks, hopefully sales, exposure, the customer finds the content, but the customer doesn't like the content, finds it annoying, useless, or misleading, that will also backfire over time. Meaning has to provide value for both. Has to move between the companies, between the company and the customer. So the important point here is that value has to go both ways. Customers should feel like they're getting something worthwhile, and the company should be moving closer to a business goal. This is what makes a social media strategy value driving. Always ask yourself, is this objective then value driving? Yes or no? So you can do a cost benefit analysis. You can weigh your costs against your benefits. Okay, this is where the cost benefit analysis comes in. Social media marketing can look fun, can look creative on the outside, but from a business perspective, it still has to make sense. You need to make money at the end of the day. So marketers have to ask themselves, what are we putting into this? What are we getting back? Okay. On the cost side, we might have social media labor, tools, software, training, opportunity costs, and risks. Even free posts is not really free if it takes time, planning, editing, and approval. Careful. On the benefit side, what do we have there? One might be trying to increase awareness, web traffic, leads, sales, conversions, loyalty, market research, and so on. So the goal is not just to do something because it looks trendy or because you should do it, other people are doing it. Strategic social media marketing means choosing the objectives and interactions that make sense for your company's goals, for your company's abilities, for the target customer's characteristics, and always for the trade-off between expected benefits and costs. Simply put, as we said, keep your eyes on the prize. Every social media objective should help create value for the customers and move the company closer to a meaningful business goal. We should also always be aware of risks, the different type of risks. And when planning social media marketing, we should consider these risks. The first risk is that nothing happens. The brand spends so much time, money, creating energy on a campaign. Nothing happens. Sounds good maybe, but it's very, very bad for a business. No one pays attention. There's no engagement, no shares, no clicks, no meaningful impact. This is real disappointing. This is a real business cost. Okay. The second risk is negative consequences. This is when people do pay attention, but not in the way the brand hoped, anticipated, or planned for. We're going to take a look at a few examples over the next few slides. So the campaign may feel tone deaf, misleading, annoying, or completely disconnected from your audience. In that case, the brand can face criticism, backlash, maybe even damage to your trust or credibility, which would be the worst case scenario. So before launching a social media idea, marketing experts, social media marketers as yourself should ask yourself, what if this gets ignored? What if it gets attention for the wrong reasons? And you need a strong strategy considering both risks. This slide is just a reminder that ignoring value can get brands into trouble. Sometimes marketers launch campaigns because they seem creative, trendy, or attention-grabbing, but they forget to ask whether the idea actually creates value for the company or the audience. If customers find the content useless, annoying, disconnected, they may ignore it at best or criticize at worst, which can damage your reputation, trust, your credibility. Even good intentions can backfire when the strategy is not thought through. So before launching any campaign, you should ask yourself, what value are we creating, for whom, and what could go wrong, and plan accordingly. There's a lot of risk of ignoring value, of cost and benefit. Just as a simple example, imagine a YouTuber who built a reputation by giving honest, impartial camera gear reviews. Their audience trusts them because they believe the reviews are based on quality, not sponsorship money. Now imagine, the same creator takes a paid sponsorship. You're going to pay them for a sponsorship for a product or services that is low quality or completely unrelated to cameras. And they talk about like it's an amazing thing. In the short term, you as an influencer or you as a company might pay them, they earn a nice sponsorship check. But in the long term, they risk losing something much more valuable. They might lose trust. Because if this YouTuber who makes camera gear reviews all of a sudden promotes an app for crypto, promotes an app for finances, promotes a product for beauty, promotes something sport related, anything not related to cameras, viewers might have their ears up and be like, oh, why are you promoting this? I'm not so sure about this. And followers may start asking themselves, if they promoted this product, can I still trust their camera reviews? Because the product they promoted has nothing to do with whatever their expertise at. Maybe it's even known to be a bad product. So careful, this can lead to negative comments. You can lose followers, downvotes, dislikes. You can have a big backlash and fewer future business opportunities. So you got to weigh the costs. Is this $10,000 as an example worth to me now versus losing maybe hypothetical $50,000, $100,000 over the next 5 to 10 years because my career will go downhill if I take this sponsorship now. So you got to weigh all the costs. Think about all the costs and benefits, not just the now. Think about the opportunity cost as well. And what does your decision, how does that impact your audience? Key takeaway is not every paid opportunity is worth it. A sponsorship could create value for the brand, the creator, and the audience. If it only creates short-term money gain but damages long-term credibility and trust, the cost may be much higher than the benefit. A few examples where businesses have good intentions and it completely backfired. In January 2012, McDonald's asked people on Twitter, now X obviously, to share positive memories using a hashtag MacDStories. They even paid to promote the hashtag, hoping it would generate happy customer stories. Guess what happened? The campaign did not go the way McDonald's planned. Instead of positive stories, many users used the hashtag to complain, joke, or criticize the brand. So what was supposed to be a paid media quickly turned into negative earned media. UGC, earned media. You earned it, but for the wrong way. Remember, earned media can be positive or negative. Be mindful about that. Let's see what they said. McDonald's stories fails. Somebody said, one time I walked into a McDonald's and I could smell type 2 diabetes floating in the air and I threw up. Which has more chemicals, Marlboro cigarette or Egg McMuffin? Flip a coin. So they're not the expected outcome. They did not plan for that. That's what can happen in the real world. The takeaway is that hashtags invite participation. It's good to have, but brands do not control what people will say. So before launching a campaign like this, social media marketers have to ask themselves, what could the audience do with this? If the brand has existing criticism or trust issues anyway, an open-ended hashtag like this can easily backfire. Another example is Aldi Australia. Similar example. Guess what they filled out? Aldi Australia wrote, fill in the blank. I became an Aldi lover when I tasted what for the first time? Uh-oh. Somebody already hinted, meet the internet. They are a bit salty lot. What could go wrong? And you can read the hashtags for yourself. It's completely backfired. People did not think, or Aldi Australia marketing team did not think this quite true. Social media users took the opportunity to teach Aldi a lesson about the internet, describing the campaign as a complete social media fail. Okay, what marketers and business objectives do you pursue through your social media activities? You always have to ask yourself, so before jumping right into establishing any goals, it's important to note that the social media marketing plan, as a reminder, is just one component of a company's larger marketing plan, grander marketing plan. That means social media marketing goals should be tied to the overarching goals, business and marketing goals for the entire company. For example, if an organization's business goal is to increase brand awareness, guess what? The social media team's goal should be brand awareness through social media as well. Here's some examples. Social media marketers' biggest goals, according to Sprout Social, increase brand awareness. This meaning putting your name out there, telling your followers, people around the world about your product or service. Increase community engagement, of course, being part of the conversation. Increase web traffic through maybe a call to action. Link in bio, visit our website. Obviously generate sales and so on. These are some common goals. And we can tie that into your Symptomship, your Stuken Symptomship, social simulation, this fictional position. You will be hired as the social media marketing manager for this company called Boohee Bags. And your goal might be spend your entire budget. Maybe it's a paid promotion week, paid promotion day, and your boss will tell you, hey, the boss wants you to be aggressive spending this week. The budget has to be spent in its entirety. So careful, you got to read that in the simulation once it shows up, because the budget might not carry over from week to week, from day to day, but it will tell you what to do in the simulation. Just follow along, follow the instructions. Spend your budget wisely. What does that mean? Some of your budget goes maybe to the content you create or buy a rights for a picture or video, and the rest should go to promoting that content. So it is commonly recommended to spend roughly 25% of your budget on the content and about 75% on the promotion part. Sometimes they'll tell you also 20-80 or 25-75. So spend that money on the content, advertising, and platforms that will help you reach the rest of your goals. Okay. Another goal could be grow your brand awareness, meaning the number of your followers, fans, subscribers across each network that needs to grow significantly maybe. And the boss will give you specific areas to focus on, but you should consistently work on increasing your follower count. This will allow you to reach more people. Let's stay in your Symptomship. Another goal could be increase engagement. What does that mean? If you grow your reach, engagement would usually follow. Engagement, remember, what is that? Likes, comments, shares, etc. But only if you write content that and share content that is engaging. So just like building brand awareness, the boss might have you focus on different areas each fictional simulation week or day, but he always wants to see the number of engagement go up as well. Increase sales, obvious good business goal that could be. All of the above goals are focused on branding. The goals for your social media marketing campaign are first and foremost about building the Boohee brand. A following goal is about return on investment, ROI. So the boss wants you maybe to increase sales by 10% compared to the last year. So your question should be, how can you drive more conversions with the content you post? How many times can you push a product to your followers before they start unsubscribing if you're too annoying with the same post, same hashtag, same wording, same call to action all the time? You have to be mindful of that. So you have to find the right mix to be certain to drive sales. And outperform your peers. I've wrote it here because in the end, you have to outperform your peers in your class, because all of you who are in my class have given the same scenario, the same simulation. And your goal is to beat them in each of the above categories, each of the goals. So the ranking you see in the simulation is based on the revenue, because this is what keeps Boohee in business. But you should focus on doing well in all of the above areas, not just revenue alone. Goals should always be SMART. SMART acronym you should know. This is not social media marketing specific. SMART goals are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely, time-based. Goals should always be like this, even your private goals in your private lives. Meaning specific, what does specific stand for? Should be exactly what needs to be accomplished. Should be specific enough. Shouldn't be too generic, too ambiguous. It should be specific, exact. Measurable, what does that mean? This is a target metric you want to meet. Attainable basically means challenging yet still achievable. It's not unrealistic. Okay. Relevant. Why relevant? Relevant keyword in general. Hopefully the goals are consistent with other goals that the company has established, or the overall goals of the company and marketing department. And time-based, always include a time frame or time limit for achieving that goal. Pretty simple. Your book breaks it down here as well. So each goal must have a quantifiable objective and a relevant and according metric to that attached. Let's look at an example. Goal, increase brand awareness online. Okay, increase brand awareness online, meaning an objective could be grow Facebook community by 100% or increased engagement by 50% per post, and so on. Objectives are very specific then. If you have an overarching marketing goal, social media marketing goal, objectives is very specific. Once established, an objective should have an accompanied measurable metric. For example, if you say you want to grow a Facebook community by 100%, you should have an attached exact number of new users, new followers on Facebook. How many? What does that mean? Increase engagement by 50% of posts, meaning you would like to have at least 2,500 likes, comments, and shares per post. Should be a metric there attached, whatever the metric may be. Okay, for example, growing social media followers by 100% could require 10,000 increase in followers, and so on. It should always be attached. Let's look at an objective with actions. Objective could be generate 50% more traffic on websites. This could be a general objective here. We have a goal, and this is objective. We have a number, it's quantifiable as well, okay? And our content strategy and social media strategy for a call to action should always be tied to that social media marketing goals and objectives. For example, as we said, if it's to increase website views, the social media post should always include a call to action with a link to the company's website, because that was our goal. Our objective was to drive more traffic to the website. We're not going to say at the end, see you next week. We're not going to say buy the product. We want more traffic on the website. Guess what? It's a social media according objective. The call to action will be link in bio to our website. Click here to find out more. You name it. Visit website, contact us, subscribe, learn more, and we hopefully get more traffic to our website. Simple as that. So review that slide and this metric, this graph as well from your book. So you realize that the goals, objectives, and metrics are all related and should all play off each other. Okay, you have a goal. Goal is a specific objective. The objective has a quantifiable, measurable metric. All right, this was it for step 3, establishing goals and objectives. Next video, we'll take a look at determining resources, roles, and responsibilities.